Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today I'll be playing another quick draft of March the Machine. This is going to be my final draft of March the Machine for quite some time because Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth is just around the corner. So as always, we've got all the new events just before the set comes out, like the Chromatic Cube draft coming back, as well as a little bit of Brothers War drafts, but then we'll be in full swing making a how to draft guide for the set, doing a bunch of early access drafts, all of that sweet stuff just around the corner. But without further ado, let's give March the Machine the final draft that it deserves, hopefully getting a pretty nice, pretty explosive deck. And a great start to getting an explosive deck is getting an explosive bomb. Sunfall is the rare in our pack here, one of the strongest bombs in the format. 5 mana for a sorcery that exiles all creatures and incubates X, where X is the number of creatures exiled this way. So you basically get this egg token with that many +1/+1 counters on it, so you can turn it into a Phyrexian, beat your opponent down with a very large Phyrexian after already clearing the entire board. So Sunfall, really atrociously powerful card, an easy pack one, pick one here. If we didn't have an excellent rare in this pack though, we do have the strongest common in the format, the very excellent Preening Champion. 3 mana for a 2/2 flyer and a 1/1 is already a good stat line for any format, but this format in particular also has some mechanics that work really well with cards that give you multiple creatures off one card. Works well with Convoke, giving you multiple bodies to tap for mana, and plays well to defend battles, plays well against battles, because when your opponent plays a battle on you trying to flip it immediately in one turn, having that nice little 1/1 elemental chump blocker out of nowhere is nice, and having a flyer to chip away at battles that you're playing on your opponent is nice too. So Sunfall's great, but Preening Champion, very close, number 2. Pack 1, pick 2, certainly not going to be nearly as exciting as our Pack 1, pick 1, but we have a few pretty viable options. Umori the Collector isn't really like a rare power level card, but it is a super solid card for any deck. In green or black, you're going to just get a 4 mana 4/5 at worst. At best, a 4 mana 4/5 that reduces the cost of 1 or 2 spells later on in the game. So Umori, again, nothing super powerful, super exciting, but the hybrid mana cost makes it pretty flexible, and it's a solid stat line for the mana cost. So we could go with Umori here, go to white-green or white-black. We also have Phyrexian Awakening as the strongest white card, I would say. 3 mana to get a 4/4 Incubator. It gives all of your Phyrexians Vigilance as well. So it stacks up into being 5 mana for a 4/4 Vigilance by itself, which isn't horrible. It's a little bit slow, but with a bunch of other Phyrexians it plays super well, so if you have a lot of other incubation like Sunfall, could pop off. Outside of those two, it's not too much else, honestly. We could take Protocol Knight and try to force blue-white knights, but if I want to force blue-white knights, I can do a safer pick and do that, which is Swordsworn Cavalier, which can play well even if I'm just in white. I don't have to be blue-white knights for this to be good. It can still be okay in white. It'll still be playable at least. So I'm thinking Umori, Phyrexian Awakening, Protocol Knight, Swordsworn Cavalier, but between Knight and Cavalier, I'd just take Cavalier, so it's just going to be these 3 really as the potential picks. Not super excited about any of them. Think I'll go for Umori the Collector. I'm going to see if I can just end the format off drafting as many rares as possible. Even if I do think this is probably the weakest pick out of these 3, it's not significantly worse. It's going to be good if we're in white-green or white-black. Again, good, not great. And it's a little more fun. Try to play as many splashy, interesting cards as we can for our final draft in the format. And looks like maybe forcing blue-white knights would have been the way to go. Off of Marshal of Zhalfir here, I think that's still going to be the pick out of this pack. The blue-white knights archetype is tremendously powerful, and Marshal of Zhalfir is one of the best cards for that archetype. Being able to give all your knights +1/+1 and tap some creatures down for 2 mana. That way you don't have to be attacking in a block and blocking with your Lord to get value off of it. So you never have to put it in danger of dying in combat damage. But Marshal of Zhalfir plays super sweet with cards like Preening Champion that we saw in our opening pack, cards like Knight of the New Coalition as well that make 2 knights off of 1 card. There's a lot of really good things Marshal of Zhalfir can do. We could also just fully commit to white-green here and take Invasion of Moog to go with Sunfall and Umori. because again, we have one green card, one white card right now, so that would just commit into green-white, but I think I'd rather be open to going in the blue-white direction. I think Marshal of Zhalfir is a significantly stronger card than this invasion. It's a fine card, but Marshal of Zhalfir is absolutely busted. Pack 1, pick 4 is not great here. None of these cards are super exciting. Cyber Cryptomancer is always solid though, a little hexproof trick to protect your most important creature. We could use this to protect our Marshal of Zhalfir and that'd be fine. Obenhawker can be good if you have a million incubators and abilities like that. I don't like committing to it this early though. And outside of that, there's really not much. Skywarden's slow and dirty, Tidal Terror's slow and dirty. Nothing super exciting off color. We'll take a Cryptomancer here. Pack 1, pick 5, we see a Storm the Seed Core. That would have been sweet if we just fully committed to white-green right off the bat. Could still take it for the white-green +1/+1 counter deck, but I think Bolaslinger is a pretty powerful card for any white deck, and white is the color that we're the most committed to with Sunfall in our deck, so I'm going to go for the Bolaslinger out of this pack. Pick 6 is really lacking. I think all these cards are pretty bad. I guess Rayav has some pretty fun synergies where I can pop off with cards like Beamtown Beatstick, maybe, but this Invasion of Kylum I've always found super bad. Scrappy Bruiser, Tenured Oilcaster, Negate, Thunderhead Squadron. None of these are cards I really like having end up in my deck in the end, so I guess I'll just take a Rayav, but I feel like this pack is basically a mulligan. I don't think we're going to play any of these cards. Maybe I should even just take the black-white dual land maybe as the most likely card there. Well, pack 1, pick 7 shows us a Marauding Dreadship and a Stoke the Flames. Two pretty solid red cards, so it could be a good signal for red, popping off with Rayav here, heading in that direction. Could still just take Bolaslinger and stay super committed to white here, but I think I'll go for the Stoke the Flames, be a little speculative on red being potentially one of the more open colors in our draft pod. Pick 8, we have Shatter the Swords for decent filler removal in red, and Realmbreaker's Grasp for decent filler removal in white. Take the filler white removal over the filler red removal. Also a Skittering Surveyor to help splash in a third color potentially. Zada can do some pretty cute things if you have a bunch of combat tricks. We don't have any combat tricks yet, so we'd have to draft pretty heavily around Zada, and I don't even know how committed I am to red, definitely much less than I am committed to white, so we'll take the Realmbreaker's Grasp for now. Yeah, it's all red cards here. That being said, they all kind of suck. Prankster is the best creature in this pack. Shatter the Source is the best spell in this pack, and neither of those are particularly great. Those I'll just pick up more removal and grab a Shatter the Source. Well, that's a pack 1, pick 10 Protocol Knight, which could be a good sign that we might be able to go blue-white Knights with our Marshal of Zhalfir, but we've seen very few blue outside of the Knights. So it could be difficult, but I don't think we're missing out on anything by taking Protocol Knight out of this pack, because the next best option is another blue card, and if I'm going to be in blue, it's because I'm going to be in blue-white, which means that Protocol Knight would be better in that color pair. The third strongest card, I guess, is Golden Scale Aeronaut, so we would be missing out on a card that we're still not incredibly likely to play. 5 mana is a lot. This is a powerful ability, but a little overcosted in my opinion. I'll just scoop up the Protocol Knight. Pack 1, pick 11 now. Bunch of poop. Nothing that I think will play at all here. I guess Karsus Depth Guard could theoretically go into a deck that's playing Rayav, because we would play a lot of equipment, and pretty much all the equipment in this format gives at least +1 power, which would make this have 5 power, but it is a pretty bad card. Definitely not playing Gloomfang Mauler or Placid Rottentail, and I'm really hopefully not playing Moment of Truth in blue-white. Guess I'll just take a Depth Guard. It's a late Marauding Dreadship. Scoop that up. Now we'll start taking these Moments of Truth. And hopefully pack 2 starts looking super sweet for us. Alright, pack 2, pick 1. Tygam is pretty slow but pretty fun. letting you rebound your instants and sorceries if you can get multiple attacks in with Tygam, which is a little difficult to do. 3/4 is not that big of a body, it's pretty easy to double block and kill Tygam. But rebound is strong, letting you cast your instants and sorceries twice. Galta and Mavrin, though, very slow but absolutely massive. It probably is early enough in the draft to just completely ditch our ambitions of going blue-white knights or red-white equipment and just play green-white filler and bomb rares, the archetype. Really sad to imagine the green-white deck that could have been if I just fully committed to green-white immediately. Again, I don't think that any of the previous picks were massive mistakes or anything. It's just in hindsight, knowing that we were going to open up a Galta and Mavrin, if I knew I was going to open up a great green-white bomb rare. If I had that previous knowledge, I would have pushed into green-white more aggressively, but I think I'm still going to take Galta and Mavrin because I don't have anything really synergistic or really powerful pushing me in any specific directions yet. So let's just get a super big bomb. Our deck might end up being filled with a bunch of pretty filler, pretty weak creatures like Sunblessed Guardian in the end, but that's probably okay if it's got both a Sunfall and a Galta and Mavrin in it for absolutely explosive bomb rares. Now for Pack 2, Pick 2, we could take a Kami of Whispered Hopes to help ramp into the Galta and Mavrin and potentially get extra +1/+1 counters with the green-white token theme, which is nice, but we could also just take Streetwise Negotiator. I think having great 2-mana creatures is super important in this format. You need to get on the board early to have things to defend battles or defend your own face. So a 2-mana 3/3 or just a 2-mana 2/2 that puts a +1/+1 counter on something else. It's very flexible and very powerful for the mana cost. I think Negotiator is just super, super good, defensively and offensively, to where it's worth taking over the Kami. If we're really lucky, we can cross our fingers and wheel the Kami here, but I think I'm going to go for Negotiator, because I don't really think any of our blue or red cards are, like, great splashable cards, really. None of them are powerful enough to want to splash, except, like, Stoke the Flames, which needs double red, which means it's really difficult to splash in. I suppose I could splash in a Shadow the Source. But, yeah, I just don't see us getting too much value off of getting the mana of any color from the Kami. Mainly just going to be getting value from letting it ramp into a 7-drop, so I'm going to take the excellent 2-drop first. Cross my fingers, hope we get that Kami back. Well, here's a Kami again. I could take this one, but I could also take Overgrown Pest, which is a very good value play, a 2/2 that draws a land or a double-faced card out of your deck. Do we have any powerful double-faced cards yet? No, but we could pick some up, like battles and such. Big fan of the Overgrown Pest, big fan of the Kami of Whispered Hopes. Coin flippy on this one. I don't think Overgrown Pest would come back. I don't know what the bot's pick order is, but in player drafts, I'm used to Kami of Whispered Hopes going later than Overgrown Pest. Maybe that's just the weird draft pods I've ended up in, but I think I'll take Overgrown Pest here. We could also, I guess, get splashy and play Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty. Pretty powerful card, 5 mana for a 3/1 and cast another spell for free. It is going to be a spell at random off the top of your library, but that's still pretty great value, and especially if you cast some 6 mana value spells afterwards. Emoti can be strong, but I think we splashed around enough. Pack 1 and Pack 2, I want to get as many on-color, just green and white playables as I can this pack, so I'm going to take the Overgrown Pest here. Now we have a Portent Tracker for mana ramp. Renata's okay, but pretty slow. The idea behind Renata in the format is that she's going to work well for the +1/+1 counter strategy. But, again, she's a 4 mana 3 toughness creature. She usually doesn't get that high power. Can trade down into 2 mana 3/1s. Yeah, not super big fan of that. I'm going to go for the Portent Tracker, get another 2-drop that also ramps us up into cards like Galta and Mavrin, potentially. Pack 2, pick 5 now. See how things are looking for pure green-white here. A lot of good black in this pack, which is awkward, because pretty sure we're just not heading that direction with our Galta Mavrin going on. Alright, so we got 2 2-mana creatures, we got a 3-mana creature, we got 2 4-mana creatures. Another 3-drop Serpent Blade Assailant here for another Death Toucher. I like it a lot better than Serpent Blade, or I like Serpent Blade Assailant a lot better than Iridescent Blade Master. My favorite card out of this pack is Blight Reaper Thalid, but I don't think we're going to be black here. I'll take the Serpent Blade Assailant, get a 3-drop in. The Blighted Burgeoning, which can help ramp into Galta and Mavrin, and it works really well with our Portent Tracker. We put this on a land, tap it for 2 mana, then untap the land with Portent Tracker, tap it for another 2 mana, so we can really shoot ahead in mana with that. So I like Blighted Burgeoning here. Also gives us some mana fixing if we do end up grabbing something to splash in. Swordsworn Cavalier seems fine. I don't really have any knights yet, but I could get some. Timberland Ancients okay, but the Land Cyclers have underperformed a decent bit. They're really just okay. Thought they'd be great. I'll take a Swordsworn Cavalier. Halo Forger for a blue-black deck here. That's pretty far from what we're doing. Take a Halo Hopper if I try to be super aggro convoke stuff, but I'd rather just take the Aeronaut at the top end. Another Blighted Burgeoning is great with our Portent Tracker. Come on in. We did not wheel any of the Kami of Whispered Hopes, unfortunately. Let's grab a Wildwood Escort here for a good value creature. Wheeled the Emoti, and now we have 2 copies of Blighted Burgeoning to slash in the Emoti. So while I didn't get the Kamis for mana fixing, we got the Blighted Burgeonings for mana fixing. And that'll probably just play out better if I can get a second copy of Portent Tracker. And I think the Blighted Burgeonings are going to end up being more powerful than the Kami of Whispered Hopes would have been. Will not be playing any of these. I'll just rare draft an uncommon. Rare draft an uncommon. And see what we open up in pack number 3. We've got a Drana and Linvala, which requires a single black mana, which is not that hard to hit off something like Blighted Burgeoning. However, they're not really a bomb rare. Kind of basically just a 4 mana 3/4 Flying Vigilance, which is strong, but not super explosive or anything. I think I'd rather just have an on-color 2 mana 3/3. It's just a very good deal. Grab another Streetwise Negotiator here. Now we've got a Alabaster Host Intercessor or a Knight of the New Coalition. I think with double Blighted Burgeoning and a Portent Tracker, Alabaster Host Intercessor actually looks pretty reasonable at 6 mana. Scoop it up. Niv Mizzet Reborn. Don't know if 2 Blighted Burgeoning is going to be able to get us all the way to a Niv Mizzet Reborn. I would have pack 1 picked 1 to Niv Mizzet for the final draft of the format, but pack 3 pick 3, a little difficult. Wow, Fairy Mastermind, all the blue stuff in the world. Could splash that in, because I'm already splashing an Emoti. Card is stronger earlier in the game than it is later, and we've got a super powerful on-color card with Tangled Skyline anyway, so I'll just take the really strong on-color card. Tangled Skyline, very good at defending ourselves. Gains a bunch of life to keep us in the game, and then flips a 5/5 reach creature onto the board. It's huge. Norn's Inquisitor is very good for the cost. Super sweet 2-drop here. Slam dunk, add it to the deck. We're kind of low on removal though, so not having this Cosmic Hunger is going to be a little sad, but Norn's Inquisitor is worth it. Now we can take another Realmbreaker's Grasp to have a little more removal. Wow, we could add 2 Marshal Zalfir. Kind of feels like pack 3 is just the strongest pack, which is awkward for us. Take a Skittering Surveyor now, so we can play 1 island pretty easily. There we go, 3rd Realmbreaker's Grasp, and that's all the removal in the world. Well, not really. It's not like a massive amount of removal, but it's certainly enough. 3 Realmbreaker's Grasp and an Alabaster Host Intercessor. And the Realmbreaker's Grasps actually play really well with Sunfall. Alabaster Host does not play well with Sunfall, but the Realmbreaker's Grasps do, because they technically leave the creature on the board, so it adds to the number of creatures getting exiled to Sunfall, which is cool. Now we get to draft on rails for the rest of the pack, and kind of like I said, gonna be a green-white deck with some really explosive rares, but also some pretty filler commons in the middle there. Overall, though, deck's looking pretty strong. Stronger than I thought it would be when we were on the pivot during Pack 2. I think the first half of Pack 3 was just a bunch of incredibly powerful cards in like every color. That would have made whatever deck we were drafting really work out for us there. So, alright, let's see what we've got here. So we want to play one island because we have a Skittering Surveyor and 2 Blighted Burgeoning to get to Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty. So that is 4 blue sources. 2 Burgeoning, 1 Surveyor, 1 island. That seems good to me. Let's check out our creature count. We're at 44 cards right now and 19 creatures. That is plenty, especially when Skyline and Sunfall both spit out a creature. Double Blighted Burgeoning also spit out a creature. So we could just cut 4 creatures if we want, which might be fine. I want to see what our permanence count is for Seed of Hope. Seed of Hope is kind of like an opt if your deck is like 95% permanence. Then it's basically look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and gain 2 life. So it's like opt and gain 2 life if your deck is pretty much all permanents, and I think it is. I think Sunfall is our only card in the whole deck that isn't a permanent. So Seed of Hope is actually just super solid card selection. Yep. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. 1 into hand, 1 into graveyard. Gain 2 life. Very solid card selection. We'll keep it in. So I think we'll just keep all the non-creatures then. Cut 4 of the dorks. Probably cut a filler 2-drop and a little bit of the filler top end. Like I think Aeronaut is our worst 5-drop. And then cut the Crusher, the Galton, Maverick, and Emoti stuff going on. I guess Crusher gives me 1 more card, so I have 2 cards to maybe cascade with Emoti again, but still feels like probably the cut. I mean, the double burgeoning is super tempting to help get up to that 8 mana, but only 1 Portent Tracker. Take me a whole lot to really want to run Copper Host Crusher. Ideally would be on like 3 burgeoning, 2 tracker, or 3 tracker, 2 burgeoning. 8 mana is just so much, especially when I've got a 7 mana card that's just way bigger. Hexproof is pretty big though. It's just a very good ability. I don't think I want to cut any of my 3s. I think Blade Master and Cavalier are the worst 2-drops. Blade Master, that mana sink ability to buff it up is quite expensive for what it's doing, so it's not something we're going to do unless we completely run out of other spells to cast. If we just have no cards in hand, then sure, we'll start dumping our 8 mana on board into turning this into functionally a 6/6, but most of the time this ends up just playing and trading as a 2 mana 2/2. And with Cavalier, I think we have like 1 other knight in the deck. So it's a 2 mana 3/1 that just dies to a Saproling. It never attacks with first strike. Yeah, we have the Sigiled Sentinel, but I think that's it. I guess I have Norn's Inquisitor as well. So I have 2 knights with the Cavalier. Alright, let's drop the Golden Scale Aeronaut. I'll drop the Copper Host Crusher. I think I will just drop all 4 of those. I guess I'm a little low on 2-drop creatures now. But I think that's fine. I think we make up for a little bit of early game stumbles with just massive late game bombs to hopefully draw into in the end. It is an explosive deck, not because the card quality is particularly consistent, but the top end card quality is through the roof. So this looks like a fine place to be. Let's make sure our mana looks good here. 13 green cards, 10 white cards. We don't have any... We have 1 white card that needs... Actually, no, we have 2 white cards that need double white. They're both late game, though, so we can wait on our double white. We have 1 green card, well, 2 green cards that need double green. Those are also both pretty much late game. I think we need green a little more because green gives us the Blighted Burgeonings. I kind of like doing like this because the Blighted Burgeonings can help us hit the second white source for Sunfall and Galton Maverick and all of that. So our green can help produce more white mana when we need it. Of course, we have a Skittering Surveyor as well, helping us hit the second color of a certain source if we need that. Yeah, I'm going to call it a deck here. Alright, here we have the final deck list for today, and the final deck list for March the Machine drafts this time around. This is going to be a green-white deck with some big explosive bombs in the end. It's pretty mid-rangey, a little bit rampy. We've got the double burgeoning to ramp up, Port and Tracker to give us extra mana off those burgeonings as well, to try to get into our Galta and Maverin early potentially, and really blow our opponent's face into the explodey bits. We've also got the Sunfall here to completely flip a game into our favor no matter what's going on. That's really what we're relying on here. I don't think that our general curve is a bunch of incredible cards overall, but we've got a lot of good 2-for-1 value between Overgrown Pest and Skittering Surveyor. Some decently powerful cards on curve with Streetwise Negotiator and Norn's Inquisitor, so we could win a few games off of decently aggressive curves with Bola Slingers topping those off and getting a few points of extra damage in. But for the most part, this is a deck where we are pretty reliant on trying to draw into some of our big explosive rares, and when we don't, we will probably kind of pitter out a little bit in the end and just slowly but surely run out of steam. So fingers crossed here, we do draw into our big explosive plays, because I think that is going to be the big difference between some wins and some losses today. So without further ado, let's cross our fingers as we head into the gameplay and see how it goes. Here we are for game one. Our opponent is on the play. We have one of our white sources for Sunfall off of the Blighted Burgeoning. We also have a Seed of Hope that can pick up any permanent that we mill, which does include lands. So possible to get our double white nice and quickly and plan on using Sunfall as our win condition this game. So a definite keep for us, a certain keep for us, whatever you want to call it. Take our 1 damage from Placid Rottentail and let's slam down a Seed of Hope, hoping to find a Plains. But every card in our deck is a permanent because we already drew our 1 sorcery, so get our pick out of the top 2. We didn't find a Plains, but we did find a Serpent Blade Assailant. So that's something else we could run out on turn 3 if I don't care about ramping up right now. Either way, better than drawing a forest there. So our opponent has Swamp Cycled a Gloomfang Mauler to find another land, and they drop an Elvish Vatkeeper for the turn. That can let them double up their Incubate, so they can transform that 2/2 Incubator into a 4/4, and so on and so forth. Not a big fan of that. Could Realmbreaker's Grasp it later. I can't do it right now, though, because I don't have the white source till I play the Burgeoning, and if I play the Burgeoning, all my lands are tapped this turn. If I play Burgeoning now, I have access to 5 mana next turn, which means I could play Serpent Blade Assailant and Realmbreaker's Grasp. Seems like a fair line. Can definitely attack with Negotiator here. Could play it defensive here and just preserve my own life total, but I'm okay with letting them swing at me a little bit. Take 4 damage on the crackback. Just ties up our life totals at 17 apiece. Yeah, this is fine. They've got a completed Huntmaster on board as well. We did draw the Plains, which means I have Sunfall mana up if I want to do that. I can do that while they still don't have the mana to use Huntmaster. Gets rid of the Vatkeeper like I want it to. Gets rid of the Huntmaster and the Rottentail. I lose 1 creature, they lose 3. They get to keep a 2/2 Incubator, but I get to keep a 2/2 Incubator. Honestly, just popping off a Sunfall right now does not seem bad. I think I'm just going to do it. Because Huntmaster plays pretty well around the Sunfall to guarantee that they're going to have like 2 Incubators left over through it. There's an Ichor Shade for our opponent, which can get completely dealt with a single Realmbreaker's Grasp, but I could also just save that for something scarier. Let's send in the 4/4. I guess I can't, because they could flip their 2/2 and double block this. So I actually have to make it a 5/5 here, so let's drop Bola Slinger instead of Umori. Yeah, this seems pretty good. We can drop Bola Slinger, put the counter onto the 4/4 to make it a 5/5. That way it can attack into a 2/2 and a 2/3, plus it gets to tap a creature down. I'll just tap the egg, I guess, because I'm okay with them blocking with Ichor Shade. And if they have a combat trick that will kill my 5/5 with Ichor Shade, it'll also kill my 5/5 with the egg. They're both 2-power creatures. Invasion of Volgrotha, so Bola Slinger's dead, and they go up to 12 life. They don't have the power on board to immediately flip the Invasion of Volgrotha at least, which is good. They are going to chip it down to 1 defense though. So they're at 12, they take 7 off this attack if I just flip the egg and attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana total is 4 for Umori, 1 for Grasp, and 2 for the Incubator. So I can play everything if I play Umori choosing enchantments, which is a little awkward in that I won't get any cost reduction in the future, but I think it's worth it to be able to dump everything out this turn. Ooh, that is not the auto tap we want. Alright, Realmbreaker's Grasp the better creature, and now we have a 4/5 to stop them from flipping the Invasion of Volgrotha. And a very big board state to try to find lethal combat damage to them next turn. Well, Invasion of Muruganda is not good enough to kill Umori, but they can kill our 2/2. Which means that we don't have lethal on board anymore, but the backup ability from Serpent Blade Assailant will make sure that it's still lethal. Because we make Umori a 5-power creature and they only have 1 blocker against 2 5-power attackers. Alright. Well, that pretty much went as we expected it to. We drew a Sunfall in that match, so we did win the game in the end. We're going to start things off 1-0 as we head into game 2. Here we are on the play without a white source, but we've got that Seed of Hope again. Only 1 card in our deck that we can't draw off Seed of Hope, and that is Sunfall. Unfortunately, it's not in our hand this time, so we don't know that this is going to be the safest Seed of Hope in the universe, but it is definitely still worth casting. The odds of it being in our top 2 are significantly lower than it being in our bottom 31. Okay, we get a Surveyor or a Realmbreaker's Grasp. I have the Burgeoning for 1 white source. Plus the Burgeoning for a 4th mana, so 5th mana is kind of a lot. I might just take the Grasp here. Okay, excellent draw. We get a turn 2 Streetwise Negotiator. Then we're going to play Burgeoning next turn into probably Inquisitor and flip the egg. Unless I draw a basic land, then I could play Escort first, pick up the Skittering Surveyor. Ooh, we just draw the plains. Well, I don't need to play the plains this turn, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to play Burgeoning. Could Grasp the Cavalier so I can keep hitting them for 3, because I don't think Negotiator Cavalier trade's great for me. If I Burgeoning now, I have 5 mana next turn to play Escort, but there's nothing great to pick up with Escort. I guess I could just Escort back the Negotiator and that'd be a fine course of action. You know what, sure. We can trade off and then just put the Negotiator back in hand next turn. Grind out some value here. Save the Grasp for a better threat. If I just Grasp their 3/1 and they end up playing like the 4/4 Haste Dragon later or something, that's going to be a nightmare. Okay, so they've got a Rayev, so if they play any auras or equipment, it's going to be very deadly. Let's get our Escort down. Pick up the Negotiator. I've already got perfect mana thanks to Blighted Burgeoning. We've got double white if we need it. We've got double green because we have 2 forests. Ooh, 7 drop though. Need to draw 2 more lands. They have 5 toughness to block with, 4 power. If they double block, I do kill both creatures if I put a counter on Escort. Because Daxos will lose a toughness once Rayev's off the board. I kind of like Negotiator back up onto Escort. I guess at that point I could just Assailant back up on Escort. It's a little more mana efficient. But I don't need the Death Touch. The mildly awkward part. The Death Touch half of the backup is just kind of pointless. Okay. I think I'd like to Norn's Inquisitor with another Incubator on the board. See if we can't flip both of these as 3/3s in the near future. Brask the Hidden, 4/4 haste. Now our creatures enter the battlefield tapped. Mildly sad. Could just kill Daxos here with my Death Toucher. Kind of whatever. I'll just let it stay around. Ooh, a Moti. Moti's going to come into play tapped and cascade into something else that comes into play tapped. Could instead make 2 untapped 3/3 Phyrexians. Feels a little bit better. Not that I can attack in with the 3/3s, but I can certainly block with them. So our opponent's down to 13 and we're at 20. We're also up a card. So things are going okay here. They're just going to pass turn. Let's start flipping eggs. There's some 3/3s. Another Realmbreaker's Grasp for us. Not bad. Now I can go ahead and just Moti. Don't have any instants. So if they have an instant speed combat trick to kill Escort, they've got it, but I think that's fine. I think I still just send it in. Shatter the Source. Okay, they're just going to spend a removal spell on it. Here's a Moti. We cascade into a Bola Slinger. I think we get another 4/4 here. A 3/2 Death Touch is just going to trade into one of their 2 power creatures. Let's make a 4/4. I guess I could have made a Moti a 4/2, but we have another spell that will cascade with a Moti in our hand. So we probably don't want to send her into combat. Bola Slinger for our opponent, which has haste thanks to Brask. Just going to put a counter on Daxos, though, not going to do any haste shenanigans. Tangled Skyline, not a 6 mana spell, unfortunately. Well, Daxos is a 3/5, so I can no longer get in for damage. Drop a Skyline and pass, I guess. I could chump attack with Bola Slinger just to tap Daxos, but we're not trying to damage our opponent that quickly, that badly. What does this thing even do? We're going to destroy the egg now. Create a tapped attacking XX where X is the greatest power among our attacking creatures. That's pretty good. Another Streetwise Negotiator. I just want lands right now. But we are so far ahead in cards. It's kind of insane. So I guess we just grasp the Javelineer so it can't keep shooting me for 2 in the face. And I still have a backup Realmbreaker's Grasp. Could Negotiator to make our 4/4 5/5. So they have to lose a creature here. I think they can make it a 1/1 though. Yep. We get the Daxos out of the way now. If I kill the Bola Slinger, Daxos goes down to 4 toughness, which still survives. So yeah, just kill Daxos. Bonebringer Valkyrie. They are going to gain 5 immediately. Gain 9 because it has haste. Well, that's frustrating. We have the Realm Breaker's Grasp for it, but they're now at 1,000,000. Oh! Draw both rares. Play both rares. Better to get a slightly bigger egg or just hit them a little bit first? Probably hit them a little bit. Well, that was a good draw. That was a really good top deck. They probably drew the best draw in their deck, and then we drew the best draw in our deck. Just immediately after each other. Alright, Sunfall. 9/9 Incubator. They play a land. We flip our card. Actually, I should have played Burgeoning first. I would have had 1 land untapped by playing Burgeoning first. Not that it would have mattered, because I don't have a 1 mana thing to do. But potentially for the future. Always supposed to play that Burgeoning before you tap your mana. You've got the mana for it. There's a Furnace Host Charger for a chump blocker, but we've got the Realm Breaker's Grasp. And that is gonna be game. We are now 2-0, thanks to 2 super well-timed Sunfalls. We have the Galton Maverick in hand even, we just didn't get to the 7 mana to play it before we top decked a Sunfall and just won with that instead. So our deck is really showing up. It has given us our bomb rares and then some. 2-0 as we head into game 3. Here we are on the play for game 3. Our curve starts at 3 mana, which is a little slow, but with Burgeoning we can start speeding things up from then on. Playing against mono blue so far, 2 islands. The Skyclave Aerialist, turn 2. Excellent start. Let us get a Blighted Burgeoning down. Get our white source. Umori on creatures. Let's see, we'll have 5 mana up next turn. I can play Umori on creatures and then I don't play anything else for the turn. Yeah, if our opponent just has triple blue up for potential counterspells and stuff, I might be more interested in playing a 3-drop and flipping a 2/2 Incubator. It's a little more mana efficient. And then if I draw another land, that means I can play Umori and a 3-drop next turn, because I'll have 6 mana up. So we'll go Skittering Surveyor as the 3-drop. Get our land for next turn for Umori to pop off. Guaranteed. And we can poke with a 2/2, unless they want to Far's Dispersal this. Nope, they will take 2 damage. Hit us for 2 with the Skyclave Aerialist. And just hold up that counterspell they're holding on to, I see. So they counter Umori here. And then we don't get to cast anything else for the turn. So no matter what I play, if it gets counterspelled, I don't get to do anything else this turn. Kind of want to keep the hard removal spell, and I kind of want to keep Umori Assailant combo to play both in one turn, so I guess that means we just play Bola Slinger as the spell that we allow to get countered. Yeah. Alright. That was the best line we could have made that turn. Doesn't feel particularly good because got 6 mana up and we just don't do anything. But we don't do anything no matter what we cast. And this way we might do big things next turn. Thanks to them potentially not having another counterspell. They are blue-black. We have found their second color. Hidetsugu and Kairi got milled. They're going to hit us for 2 with Aerialist again. Please don't just have all counterspells in hand. Please, no, play something. Play Protocol Knight or something. Okay, cool. Eyes of Gitaxias. Draw a card, incubate 3, no land? They do have a land, which means they have the mana up for another Assimilate Essence. Now I have enough mana to play Bolaslinger and Assailant here. Yeah, I guess I get the double spell even if I don't play my strongest, spookiest card, so... See if we can't get assimilated with our other spells. No, they might just be holding up the egg flip ability. I think I want to make everybody big enough to attack into the 3/3 here. I'm just going to buff Bolaslinger with the backup. Rather than dealing 1 extra point of damage this turn, we'll make sure everybody's big enough to attack through 3/3s next turn. They've got the black source now, potentially stuck on that black mana. They might have some black spells in hand. We know they have 1 engrave. So there might be Final Flourish, Vanquish the Weak type spells that they've been holding on to. Just cheap little black removal spells. Or creatures or anything like that. Alright, that's a lot of untapped mana. Both of my last 2 cards are pretty much just as strong. I actually think Umori's a little bit weaker than Intercessor because we can Intercessor and get rid of their token forever. So I think we're trying to cast Umori, but we'll do it post-combat and see if they play any removal. Unseal the Necropolis to pick up Hidetsugu and Kairi and copy it with Lutri the Spell Chaser. Lutri in the main deck rather than the companion slot, I see. Cowards, every time. Yep, so now they have 1,000,000 cards. That's pretty sweet. And they get to kill Bolaslinger. I guess we'll lose. Actually gonna hold on to Intercessor to get rid of Hidetsugu and Kairi. Because if they spend all the mana on Hidetsugu and Kairi, they won't really have any mana left for anything else. And then we can get a really nice large attack in. Aetherblade Agent. They would rather hold up 4 blue than play a Hidetsugu and Kairi. Also known as the most suspicious play in the universe. Play an Aetherblade Agent, hold up 4. Well, both of these spells are very powerful. So yet again, I can't really play around a counter. Probably go for the Intercessor here. On Aetherblade Agent. At least if it's the Convoke counterspell, then they have to tap their whole board and take 8 and go to 3 life. Because that's a 6 mana counterspell with Convoke. It's that one. C double. Do I have 8 cards in grave? Of course. Jesus Christ. So they copy my Intercessor and one of my creatures. Well, I guess now I have to just exile their copy of Intercessor. Because that'll be gone forever and I'll get my Umori back. Their final card in hand is something with Convoke. That costs 4 or less. Could be the -3/-3 removal spell. Could also be the rare. Convoke 4 creatures, destroy a creature, surveil 2. But that would mean they have C double, Hidetsugu and Kairi, and the rare removal spell with Convoke in hand right now. And a Lutri in deck. Just getting severely outbombed if that is their Convoke spell. I think Collective Nightmare would be the most likely. Wait, what just happened? Why was it ticking down my clock? I wasn't in full... It was on my clock? What? I mean, well, I'm losing this game anyway, but that was weird. Why did it want me to click on it, then also still click OK? I had no instance, I had no abilities on board. What on earth had my Intercessor targeting theirs taking place on my clock? I don't know. This game was a pretty big loss, no matter what, but that was really weird. I'll have to rewatch that. I guess maybe I had a next button and I just didn't even notice, but I thought when I play it on the board, I choose my target. I don't know what on earth it was waiting for me for. If it did give me the button, I didn't even notice the button. The odds of Sunfall in the bottom 13 are much more likely than Sunfall in the top 2. Don't think I can just sit here for too long without dying, so I think I do Seed of Hope and take that risk. Okay, they negate it anyway. A flyer here. Give them a card draw, which I don't like. I feel like it's better killing that menace card though. Oh, this doesn't seem horrible. They still get that card draw though. Take 8 though? I can negate the card draw, take 5. Solid trades and blocks overall. Sure, there's probably like a moderately better block here. This is fine. I don't have any hourglasses left to think over that combat much longer, because apparently the timer was on me last turn. Alright, and we're dead. On board. 2-2 as we head into Game 5. I lied, that was our first loss. We're 2-1 as we head into Game 4. Here we are for Game 4. Our opponent is on the play, and we don't have any creatures till turn 4, which is glacially slow for this format, but we do have a 2-mana removal spell, which might be able to just keep us in long enough. Very big risk to this hand, though. I'm going to take the mulligan. And this hand is all in on drawing land number 3, but I'm going to hope we can do that. I think I drop the grasp, actually, and just go for it. Top deck a land in our first 3 draw steps, then we have Pest and Surveyor to guarantee the next 2. We drop a Moti, we drop Galta, win the game off that. We did hit a forest turn 1. I am glad I mulliganed the first hand, because our opponent goes 1 drop into 2 drop. Wow. Informant is so frustrating on a mulligan, though. We need this 3rd land so badly, I can't ditch that. Can't ditch Pest or Surveyor. Feels so wrong to ditch a Moti, though. You know what? Let's draw another land. There's a burgeoning now, too. Do draw the plains. Absolutely beautiful. Utter perfection. Unstoppable. Now we play the Blighted Burgeoning first, so that next turn we can have 5 mana up, because we can play Surveyor or Pest to draw our next land guaranteed. Play that land and flip the Incubator to have a blocker. Or if I just top deck the land immediately, I could just cast a Moti. Cast an Moti it is. Cascading. Finding a Bola Slinger. These land draws have been on point this game. Absolutely rewarded for our greed of discarding that forest early. There's the Flourish for a Moti, but I still have a 3-3 against their 1-power attackers. They've got 5 mana up now, 3 cards in hand. Another land, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6th mana. So we're 1 turn away from Galta and Mavrin. Drop the Overgrown Pest, because it doesn't really matter what color of land I pick up right now. So we'll play the slightly bigger creature. Plus, if I hit a double-faced card, I could draw that, but I don't actually think I got any double-faced cards in the end. Yeah, there's no double-faced cards in this deck. Alright. Plains or forest? Grab another forest. We've already got double white and burgeoning. Could flip a 2-2 or play a Surveyor. I think I'd just play a Surveyor. Play both Pest and Surveyor this turn. We already cast our one blue spell in the deck, so we're just going to grab another Forester Plains here. Guess I'll grab a Plains this time. Because we have 4 forests now. 4 forests, 3 plains. There's a Furia, Judge of Valor. That is what's going to get tapped down this turn. But here's Galta and Mavrin. Greatest power among other attacking creatures. Or the number of other attacking creatures. So I can make 3 1/1s off this attack or 1 3/3 trample. I think I'd rather just go 1 3/3 trample here. I guess I could double block, kill Pest. Yeah, I can just go 3/3s. Okay, they're going to go for the Chump and Sack here to draw a card. Oh, they missed their sack. They missed their card draw, unfortunately. Furia, Judge of Valor coming in, gaining 2 life. They're up to 16, and Sunfall. Get a taste of our own medicine here. Good thing Sunfall exiles, because Wildwood of Escort would have won us the game if it didn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Still escort back a Moti and then have a Death Touch blocker for the 7/7, which is going to be an 8/8 thanks to Norn's Inquisitor. Realm Breaker's Grasp, pretty legit. Let's see what we get off of Moti first, though. Bola Slinger, also quite legit. Now we have a 5/5. 5/5 against a 3/3 and a 1/1 is more than good enough. I can even just flip my 2/2 this turn instead, because I get the tap ability this turn. And I still have my 2/1 Death Toucher to block the 8/8. Skittering Surveyor. We can grasp the 8/8 and then Bola Slinger down the 3/3. Attack with pretty much everybody. They could double block Bola Slinger, but they take 1,000,000. I think we pressure them here and send in everybody. They're going to go for the double kill on the 1 toughness cards. Take 9, I believe. They're down to 2 life now. Kroxan Kunaros, big Vigilant Menace lifelink card. Do they have the 6 cards engraved? Or 5 cards? They only need 5. I guess they need 6, because they need to exile 5 and then reanimate a 6th, so they had 1 more card engraved there. That would have been disastrous. But we do make it through the Sunfall in the end with some really good stuff from Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty, giving us 2-for-1s, and Bola Slinger locking down some blockers, getting the extra damage in, Wildwood Escort picking up the Emoti. Really good stuff from the common and uncommon team after the initial work from Galta and Mavrin early there. So we are going to be 3-1 now as we head into Game 5. Here we are now for game 5, super keepable hand that starts out with a 2 mana 3/3 on turn 2, or a Portent Tracker to get mana. Blight Reaper Thallid is annoying. I think I might Portent Tracker first then, although I'm not going to play a 4 mana card on turn 3, but it would let me play Negotiator and Realmbreaker's Grasp next turn, which might be worth it. I don't really want to just like play a Negotiator and then they flip the Thallid and then I have a 3/3 versus a 3/3 that makes a 1/1 when it dies. I guess I could have just went for Grasp first, so that they couldn't flip it even and get the 1/1. But it's probably best to just get the extra mana here. Ooh, Sunfall actually is a very good card. I don't know if you knew that, but Sunfall is pretty sweet. Could Realmbreaker's Grasp the Thallid, but now I could just trade aggressively early. Keep myself alive until Sunfall takes things over, and then we can make sure that we still have a Realmbreaker's Grasp post-Sunfall for their next threat. And make sure we have some creatures in grave for Escort post-Sunfall, potentially. This is the order we'd ideally do things in, but when our opponent pressures us, we'll probably end up casting 1 or 2 of these other cards before the Sunfall. Chomping Kavu. +1/+1 counter on the Saproling. I could just kill the Saproling on blocks, right? Power. Oh no, because its power is technically 1. This is one of the things that kind of sucks about how Arena visualizes these cards. In paper, Magic, it's really hard to make an error where you're like, this is a 3-power creature. Like, you just know it's a 1/3 because you see the printed card with a +1/+1 counter on it. But on Magic Arena, it is so easy to just not be reading the text and be like, yeah, this is a 3/3, so it can just block that. Not that I'm making an error here right now, but just there are instances where I've seen a lot of players make errors about these kind of things, and I have made errors about these kind of things in the past, because Arena always visualizes it. I wish there was some kind of option to have them just show me the printed card with counters on them. Stuff like that. Could just Sunfall now. I kind of like the idea of dropping a Moti here and then just going into the chump zone, and then we go Sunfall and Wildwood Escort back the Moti on a later turn. So I want them to commit some more cards to the board before I Sunfall. Alright, Final Flourish on a Moti is perfectly fine by me. Saproling in the Kavu, trade to the Kavu. If I can, there we go. Here's an Elvish Vat Keeper. Now we'd ideally have them flip the egg first. Drop Escort on a Moti. Invasion of Lorwyn. Kill our Wildwood Escort. Kill our Portent Tracker. I'm gonna pretend I have an Afara's Dispersal, because it would be funny. Please flip Invasion of Lorwyn. No, 0 attacks, period. Now I have a Galta and Mavrin post Sunfall. Do I Moti or do I Sunfall? They just flip a 2/2 attack this for 2. They get to keep this invasion to flip into a big creature later, which could be an issue, but I have the Grasp for that. I feel like I just Sunfall. Fuck, this hand is really good post Sunfall. Poke the Invasion of Lorwyn for 2. Trying to get their big elf. Tangled Skyline. 1 mana off from greatness right now. So I think I cast Emoti. She is big enough to trade into Aetherblade Agent even if it flips, and she could hit a Blighted Burgeoning from her deck. Sentinel's not bad. It's not a Blighted Burgeoning, but it's not bad. Phyrexian Gargantua, that is another card that's pretty great post-Sunfall. Get a 4/4 on the board and draw 2 more cards. Great value. I think I just trade there, because if I hit 1 more land for Galta and Mavrin, then I get to Cascade again with Emoti. Let's go. Cascade into a 3/3. And I've got a 12/12. And they're just going to scoop them up. That is enough for them. Sunfall into Emoti, into Galta and Mavrin. They were like, no, I'm good. I'm done with March of the Machine for right now. We are now 4-1 as we head into game number 6. Gonna be a positive record no matter what. Here we are on the play with Portent Tracker into Blighted Burgeoning, which is really good at ramping us up into the Galta and Mavrin that we have in our hand. So this is a beautiful hand. We are against red though. They could easily have a cheap burn spell to shoot the Portent Tracker, like a Volcanic Spite or something. That would be the biggest way for us to lose this game, is if our opponent can immediately kill Portent Tracker and we don't draw lands. If they can immediately kill Portent Tracker, but we top deck some basics, we'd be fine. But if they immediately kill Tracker and we don't draw lands, then we have an issue. One of those two things has happened. We did not draw land in our first 2 draw steps. However, they haven't immediately killed Tracker yet. But missing 2 land draws here is certainly painful. There's a Valduck with that Beamtown Beatstick. They could just outrace us now. Yeah, if I just miss every land drop, then they can definitely outrace us. I do have 5 mana here at least, so I get to Emoti because of the Portent Tracker Burgeoning combo. See if we can't hit a Skittering Surveyor or Overgrown Pest or a second Burgeoning. All of those are options that are in our deck. The second Burgeoning it is. How does this work? When it's tapped for mana, add an additional 1 of any color. So I can load them up on the same land and get even more mana. Alright. Alright. Yeah, I'm about to take a million here though, because I can't block Valduck and the token has trample and dies at the end step anyway, so we take 7. Down to 13. There's Invasion of Segovia. It will be really easy for them to flip, and that's going to untap their whole board in their end step every time. Oh dear. The worst part about Valduck is that it is a triggered ability that creates all the 3/1s, so if I put a Realmbreaker's Grasp onto it, it's just going to make 2 3/1s. Going to make it a bonus 3/1 trample. Sure, it won't be able to attack and block anymore, but at what cost? I think we play a Galta and Mavrin and try to Cascade here. I think I pay like this in case I Cascade into the card that makes a certain card type cost 1 less, and then I just choose enchantments and I could play Realmbreaker's Grasp. Oh my god, Cascade into an Alabaster Host Intercessor? Oh my god. Yeah. Alright. I did not think I was the favorite in that game. I was pretty sure they could get around the Galta and Mavrin, most likely. Flip the battle, do some crazy stuff, or maybe get enough 3-1s to try to kill us, but Cascade into Alabaster Host Intercessor is disgusting. Luckiest Cascade we had in the whole deck. Good grief, opponent on the instant concession to that, and I don't blame them. We are going to be 5-1 now. Just lucking into some crazy stuff with this deck. Here we are for game 7 now. We are on the play. Roll out with our Burgeoning or an Assailant if we need a Death Touching blocker. Playing against a black deck with a turn 1 Ichor Drinker. I'm not going to grasp that. They should have a couple ways to sacrifice that in any black deck, in which case grasp on the Drinker is very bad. Because it gives them extra value in the graveyard. Anyway. Want to be able to play 5 mana worth of stuff next turn? I kind of do, but also a 3 mana 3/3 Vigilance is quite good. Yeah, worst case scenario, when I don't draw land, I can still just play Burgeoning next turn. If I do draw land, Sentinel into Bola Slinger is very nice, and I don't actually have anything crazy to ramp into with this hand. So I'm okay waiting on the bonus Burgeoning mana to try to be on the beat down a little bit this game. Alright, Vanquish the Weak on Sigil Sentinel, fair enough. Down to 18. We don't hit a land, but we do hit a Surveyor, which is kind of like hitting a land. We just have to play a 1/2 this turn, but it's fine. You know what? I have a Burgeoning. I don't think I actually want to grab a natural blue source when I can just Burgeoning into the blue mana the turn I need it. And actually use Burgeoning for green or white mana every other turn. Completed Huntmaster. That is something I'm pretty happy to Realmbreaker's Grasp here, and I'll do that off of Burgeoning so I can play a Moti next turn, which was a very good draw. Now they probably do have a way to sacrifice Huntmaster, so Realmbreaker's Grasp is going to be just weak in this matchup in general. With Ichor Drinker and Huntmaster, it definitely looks like they have a sacrifice sub-theme to their deck. But at least Huntmaster doesn't like do anything in the graveyard. So we just kind of fully get rid of all of its text by Realmbreaker's grasping it. Seraph of New Capenna. That can sacrifice creatures to get +2/+1 in the sky. Be fine with that. That costs pretty much all their mana to flip it, so we're just playing a Moti. See what we cascade into. I don't feel a need to immediately grasp that Seraph. Norn's Inquisitor is not a bad cascade here. That can make our Incubator larger, so we have 2 potential 3/3 Phyrexians on the board. Only card in graveyard right now is a Sigil Sentinel, so I don't love our Wildwood Escort. Ooh, Collective Nightmare on the Norn's Inquisitor so that our Phyrexians will only turn into 2/2s. It's a little bit sad. Heliod the Radiant Dawn. No enchantment engrave though, so just playing it to flip it and start casting their spells with Flash. Not bad. Another Blighted Burgeoning. So we've got 5 mana. Burgeoning puts us up to 6 mana. I don't really have anything great to do right now. Guess we're still just on setup waiting to draw into something crazy. Probably just load up another Burgeoning. Put it on the same land in case of a Portent Tracker. use it to flip a 2/2. But we can't get through the 4/4. I guess I could grasp Heliod so they can't have the 4/6 body that makes their stuff cheaper. But then Seraph of New Capenna is going to keep chipping at us in the sky, and we might need to just grasp the Seraph. They already have enough mana to play pretty much anything. The big scary part of Heliod is that they'll be casting everything at instant speed. So it's going to make combat horrific because they're just flashing in all of their creatures. I think we can play around them flashing stuff in, but there's no real way to stop Seraph of New Capenna from killing us without Realmbreaker's Grasp if we don't draw into another flyer. Reach style card, and I don't actually think I have any in this deck. I've got Tangled Skyline, that is our defense against flyers, just the Skyline and our Realmbreaker's Grasps. Ooh. Well, I mean, I actually don't think I'm gonna be blocking with this 2/2, but I would like to try to kill Heliod. I think I try to kill him this way. I don't think stacking up a 2/2 is going to kill him through anything except the +2/+2 combat trick. If this is like a Vanquish the Weak or something to blow up one of my creatures, even if I triple block, Heliod stays on board and then I lose all my creatures. If it's the -2/-2 card, same thing happens, Heliod stays, I lose all my creatures. If it's the +1/+1 protection from a color, Heliod stays, I lose all my creatures. Yeah, I actually think we're just on the double block. Most combat tricks and removal spells they could have at instant speed here would be even better against us if I triple block than if I double block. So if they have something, then it's going to most likely ruin my day even harder if I block with the 2/2 as well. Aerial Boost. It's the literal only one that if I triple blocked would still kill Heliod. The +1/+1 protection from a color would just wipe my whole board. All of the instant speed removal spells like Elspeth's Smite, Vicious Offering, Vanquish the Weak would have just wiped my whole board. I stand by the play there. It was the correct play, statistically speaking. But they had the exact trick that I should have triple blocked for. The one card out of like 6 or 7 that I was considering. Where that's the better play, instead of the 6 or 7 where my line was the better play. I mean, I guess it's not the worst deal in the universe because the aerial boost is gone now, which is good. I'll pick up another Emoti. Since we got Emoti into the graveyard. And we're blocking everything on the ground. Seraph of New Capenna is still doing its thing for now. We can block the big booty Heliod. Well, all their spells are instants, so if they have another trick, they've got another trick. Alright, we need to top deck a Sunfall. Thanks. Appreciate that one, Arena. Just had to text my contact at Wizards of the Coast real quick for that one. Well, they do have the removal for Emoti, but they're going to need a lot more removal to survive. Oh, please top deck your own Sunfall. That is the only thing that would make this game more incredible, is if they top decked Sunfall and then exile these, and then I just grasp their token and start killing them with Bola Slinger instead. Well, that was about the luckiest thing in the universe. The called shot. Only way out in the whole deck. Let's just top deck Sunfall. Top deck Sunfall. So we've been tremendously lucky today. I don't know what else to say. I don't think this deck is as good as it's been playing at all. It mainly just has some really powerful bombs. It's got a lot of good 2-for-1 value. We've been getting a lot of really good stuff done with our Emoti, especially with our Wildwood Escort. We've been consistently having Emoti and Wildwood Escort to return the Emoti and recast her again later to cascade again, so we've had some really great value plays even without the bombs, but we've also hit the bombs all over the place, and they have completely been taking games that we should not have been winning, like that last round where it was like, well, top deck Sunfall or bust, and we certainly did. So really, really lucky run today, but it's going to lead us to a 6-1 record right now. So no matter what happens, an excellent record, and we're leaving with more gems than we spent on the event, as quick drafts are 5,000 gold or 750 gems. We're going to be getting 850 back, as well as an extra pack. So beautiful place to be, but we'll see if we can't get a 7-win run today as we head into the first round of the final boss. Here we are for what may be the final boss, what may be the final game of Magic for this draft, and we've got an excellent hand on the play to curve out with Norn's Inquisitor into a burgeoning to be able to do a lot of stuff on turn 4, because turn 4 will have 5 mana up, which will be enough to flip both of these into 3/3s and attack with them immediately. That would probably be the sweetest play. Our opponent is on mono white so far, with a turn 2 Daxos Blessed by the Sun to gain them a bunch of life throughout this game. They've got a Core Halberd to give it +1/+1 Vigilance if they want as well, which can be quite a life total swing, plus that'll make it a 3/4, which is pretty nasty against our potential 3/3s. Does lock up the board state for now. Our opponent has played a Mountain now, so they're probably red-white equipments. Very powerful sub-archetype in this format, where if you got the good equipment commanders from the Multiverse Legends, then you can make a pretty powerful deck in the archetype. There's the 2-mana 2/2 that gives all your equipped creatures double strike, that's super nasty, and there's the Valduk that we saw earlier today, the 3-mana 3/2 that spits out 3/1s for everything it's equipped or enchanted with. So Hanger Scrounger hits the board. We've got 5 mana up. We can be more mana efficient by playing Overgrown Pest and flipping 1 Incubator, but we can be more aggressive by just flipping both Incubators. I could also just play an Assailant and flip 1 Incubator, then I have a Death Toucher up for Daxos, which is kind of cool. Plus make Inquisitor a 2/2, which is big enough to trade into Scrounger if it doesn't have Halberd on it. Yeah, I'm going to be mana efficient here. I'm going to play one of the 3-mana cards and flip a 2-mana card, so we can make use of all 5 of our mana instead of just 4 by flipping those. So send in a 3/3 here. Hit them down to 18. The life totals are even now, but probably not for long. Daxos is going to keep gaining our opponent some life. They're on their 4th mana now. They've got the beautiful stained glass artworks from Dominaria United. Those are the lands that I use in paper right now during drafts. I drafted Dominaria United enough at Friday Night Magic to have 7 or 8 of each of those. Or 8 or 9 of each for drafts. Vigilance on the Hanger Scrounger. Well, that means they don't get to discard and draw, but they do get to hit me really aggressively thanks to the Seal from Existence clearing out our Death Toucher. So we take 6, we're down to 12. Umori the Collectors not a bad one at all. Yeah, 4 or 5 bodies, real good on blocks. And I can still flip the other incubator. Attempt to swing for 6 here to balance out the life totals again, holding up our 4-5 to stop them from attacking us. Ideally, if they have another removal spell to get Umori out of the way, then they might just clear us out here. They won't kill us in one attack, but we're kind of out of gas after Umori. So if Umori gets cleared, then our face is next. We'll go down to 6 and then die pretty quickly. If they don't have removal for Umori, then we're pretty stable. We've got some time to draw into some more threats. Alright, no removal, but multiple creatures here means we're probably just holding back now. Stabilizing the board state, getting ready to block everything they play. I'm trying to draw some non-land cards. We have top decked a forest this turn, which is unfortunate. And Overgrown Pest is only going to draw us a land. We don't have any double-faced cards in the deck. So, clear out some more lands. And hopefully stop drawing them. We have 8 right now. More than enough to cast anything in the deck. So we're just stuck top decking here, but our opponent has all non-land cards in hand, except for whatever they drew this turn. That could be a land. But they have not played a land last turn, so we know that it's all non-land stuff in there. Or was all non-land stuff in their last turn. Bloodfeather Phoenix. That's a game-ending threat here. There's no flyers on our board. So that'll be enough. Just chip in for 2 each turn. We'll die in 6 attacks. Bola Slinger's not bad. Actually, it kind of is. Bola Slinger's only really great when we are on the offensive, and we kind of aren't right now. Guess I could put it on one of these 3/3s and then tap Daxos and attack with it or something. Doesn't feel like there's a really big point in doing that. I'm probably just gonna choose whatever I want to be a better defender here. Just make the Bola Slinger itself a 3/3. Make a 5/6 Umori. I really don't think I have attacks here. Just slap a counter on Bola Slinger and pass. Alright, slap the Core Halberd onto the Bloodfeather Phoenix so that it kills us in only 4 attacks now instead of 6. Kind of forgot about the Core Halberd on the Scrounger that could just be moved onto the Phoenix. It's very bad. We need to find an out quickly now. There's an Invasion of Ragatha to shoot us for 4. Now we're dying in 2 more attacks. That is super, super bad. Yeah, our opponent on all gas here. They have drawn 4 lands all game. And all spells. Another Bola Slinger. Now is not the time, Bolas. We're at 5 life. We cannot outrace them. I need 4 blockers on the ground if I'm trying to outrace here. No way are there good attacks right now. I mean, we're probably just on top deck Sunfall or bust again. If my opponent... We know they have 2 non-land cards in hand. That's the problem. If they were like empty-handed here, then maybe I could just attack with 4 3/3s right now. Tap down Daxos and their 3/2. Try to pressure them with enough damage to kill them on the next swing. But that would be leaving only 3 blockers up, which would leave me killed. I can only attack with 3 3/3s right now because I need to hold 4 blockers up to not just die immediately. And I need them to not have removal or a combat trick. I guess if they have a combat trick, Phoenix already kills me, but I need them to not have removal after attacking with these 3. I'm just going to attack with 2. They double block one of them, then we'll kill the... Oh yeah, they get to discard a card, draw a card if they want. If they double block one of them, we'll kill the Spell Spear, I think, because of Trample. I guess they both turn into Tramplers, that's an issue. I think I still kill the Spell Spear on a double block. Because it's cheaper to flip it. Dune Shaper would take all of their mana. Yeah, kill the Spell Spear. They're down to 12. All except Daxos. They're still at 13. If I attacked with 3 creatures there, then I die to a removal spell because they could just be like, alright, no blocks. And then removal spell one of my 4 blockers when they have 4 attackers on the ground. And they'd have to get a 2-power creature in on the ground. Okay, they just have a Stoke the Flames. I guess I will go... Screw myself. We are 6-2 now. Heading into the final boss. Alright, we got green and white mana thanks to Alabaster Host Intercessor. We've got a great 2-drop with Streetwise Negotiator. We actually have 2 of them. I can make a 4/4 and a 2/2. However, our opponent has one of the best cards to companion. In the companion slot, Gyruda Doom of Depths is a super explosive card. Pretty hard to lose the game after it resolves, because it's a massive 2-for-1 guaranteed. 6 mana for a 6/6, and you reanimate the best even mana value creature from the top 4 cards of either player's deck. So usually 6 mana for like a 6/6 and a 3/3 or a 4/4 or something, which is absurd. Puts you very far ahead on board very quickly. Super explosive, and you can always do it on turn 6 because of the companion ability. And they are going to put it in hand there. Get ready to do it on turn 6. Drop the next Streetwise Negotiator and beat down as much as we can. Slam in for 4. Next turn we're going to probably cycle an Intercessor and play a Realmbreaker's Grasp, maybe. There's a Timberland Ancient. And a Blight Reaper Thallid for a blocker. Yep, we are definitely playing cycling the Intercessor. Keep pressuring them, try to kill them as fast as we can. That shuts off that blocker, hits for 6. Next turn we play a Bola Slinger, shut off whatever blocker they play that turn and hit for 7. And then hope that attacking with 2 Bola Slinger triggers is going to be enough to outrace the Gyruda. That is our line, we're all in. Hit for 7. Put them to 3. They slam down Gyruda, have 2 more blockers. They have 3 blockers total. We go Bola Slinger, 2 taps, and kill them. That's the play. Just outpace Gyruda. They get a 6/5, reach trample, but we can tap 2 of them down. Tap Gyruda and the Ancient. They have 1 blocker up and they die. Yep. That's dead. Boop. Boop. And a really aggressive hand, the most aggressive hand that we drew all draft manages to just outrace the Gyruda, even though they get some real big creatures on board. We just tap everything in the universe down off of double Bola Slinger. Double Bola Slinger after double Streetwise Negotiator, both of these outputting 3 damage a turn for only 2 mana, plus that flexibility to stack up all of the power onto the first Negotiator and then add some to the second. That was beautiful. That was insane. I was real scared when I saw Garuda, and then we just had the most aggressive plays of the day. Really, really sweet stuff from the deck overall today. Highly overperforming, getting us a full 7-win run, and letting us play as many games of Magic while we're at it. Going 7-2, playing 9 games, getting 950 gems and 2 packs. Take another look at the deck here. We could talk a little bit about our over and underperformers. We already knew that Galta and Mavrin and Sunfall were completely ridiculous cards that would win pretty much every game that they were cast in, and they did exactly that. That being said, I would still count them as overperformers, especially Sunfall, just because of how consistently we managed to draw them off of sheer luck and the blessing of the Magic Arena Shuffler. So those were incredible. Those were the MVPs. Those did even better than normal. But another MVP that was constantly giving us great 2-for-1 value, letting us trade off multiple times, often playing super well with our Wildwood Escort as well, was Emoti. Honestly, this is probably the 3rd MVP. Very, very close with Sunfall and Galta in terms of how much that it did to help us win those games. Outside of those, the Negotiators were absolutely phenomenal in that last game and consistently solid. The Realm Breaker's Grasps were pretty important. The Seed of Hope was always good. The Burgeoning Port and Tracker combo came into play really well. I think we cast literally every card in our deck, and they all did something pretty sweet at least one time, so really, really good draft today. Really fun one. Always nice to be able to play every single card in your deck and have every single card function pretty well for you. So a 7-2 run, very nice way to end off the March of the Machine drafts for now. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons very much for supporting this channel, as well as you for watching. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more. There's some great stuff on the horizon with Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth just around the corner. But until then, Chromatic Cube drafts are back up next week, so tons of great limited stuff. Outside of that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.